Hi, do you like games? Do you like game development? Well, guess what? I've been trying to learn game development using Godot. Let's get into it. So, I've been really interested in game development for a really long time. Since I was about like 16, 15, I don't know, just a really long time ago. And I wanted to show off some of the projects that I've made and show them off to you guys and hopefully get some feedback on how I can improve myself in my own game making process and what have you. So when first learning how to program games and how to design games, I looked at the Godot documentation, where I found a neat little tutorial on how to make this little game called Dodge the Creeps. And if you guys haven't seen it before, it's just a simple little game where you just dodge the creeps, and the longer you dodge them, the higher a score you get. And and it shows you a lot of useful information on how to program how the player moves, some other math stuff I'm not quite understanding right now, and signals, and a bunch of just very useful information. So after that platforming tutorial, I was like, alright, I want to make a game all on my own. Let's see if I can do it. And basically, what it amounted to is me making this little project of two wizards. Actually, both of them are separate too, so you can play these two characters on the keyboard, like a multiplayer couch co-op thing, and what have you. Because I wanted to make a game where I was like, all right, what I want to make a game where I can play with someone else as like a little project, and it would be cool. And as you can see, I can fire little fireballs, and this is also a lot more complex than the platform tutorial I initially followed, such as you can see the camera is doing some weird zoom and zooming out stuff, kind of like in other couch co-op games, so both players could be seen on the screen. But there's some problems with this game. First of all, the health bar does not work. They can fire at each other all day. Nothing's gonna happen, and that's because I actually don't almost under I just don't understand what's going on, basically. Such as the player code, it's basically just me memorizing where the platforming code and what have you, with maybe some a little more intricacy, such as this right here, where this is that right there, and also all this chunk of code right here, which is how I'm firing the fireball, and all this and all that other stuff, and the camera, which is just beyond my understanding. I just looked up a video on Kids Can Code, and I've kind of noticed myself falling more into the I'm going to watch a tutorial and kind of hope that this tutorial plus this tutorial, when I mixed it together, that it makes a decent game, which it almost did for me. I learned a lot about the camera and also how to make a player character shoot a projectile, but as I try to make this game bigger and bigger, I kind of almost I did scope creep myself a little bit and try to make it too complex. So I ended up scrapping this, and this might be a project I return to later when I'm a little more knowledgeable and able to more readily understand what this game is trying to do and what's going on. So the last project I'm going to show off that I was working on, and a small game prototype I actually completed, was this neat little like top-down shooter game, and I learned how to do this on a tutorial, and I'll link it in the description of where I found it because I can't remember the YouTube name right now. I'm sorry, but this game was smaller. It was kind of like that the last game I showed off, but instead of being multiplayer and complex and just overwhelming, it's simpler, easier, less lines of code, and not weird camera manipulation stuff. And basically, you have enemies, you shoot corn at them that has really fun physics stuff that doesn't really work right, and you can go through a neat little level and what have you, and when you get touched by enemies, they die. And if you look at the code, it actually almost looks pretty similar to the last one, the last program and what have you that I showed off. except it's a lot simpler, a lot smaller, and a lot easier to understand, especially for me, who is just learning how to do this. So that was the projects I've been working on, and if you guys have any helpful tips on how I can better myself as a game developer, or how I can be better just in general at making games, please tell me in the comments below. And if you're interested in following my journey on learning how to program games on the Godot engine, please like, subscribe, and I'll see you later.